Welcome back to my channel. This video is really just gonna be about my pregnancy and how I dealt with it, what happened, everything like that. Because I know that when I was pregnant, I searched YouTube for days, for months. I searched the whole web for videos of people's experience and and how they went through it and stuff. So I just want to tell mine and just help anybody that needs it out. So if you're curious to know what it's like to be pregnant, or you're curious to know the after, just keep watching. Let's see. Long story short, fell in love, got pregnant at 17, and we'll run along from there. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I feel like I knew because I knew my body, and I was pretty like off on my period. And I have a really irregular period, but I also know my body, and I know that if I don't have a period a whole month and longer, then yeah, something's up. So I took a test, and turns out it was freaking positive, and I literally started bawling my eyes out. But the first thought that came to my head was, how the fuck am I going to tell my parents? You know, I feel like that's everybody's reaction, is how are they going to tell their parents? And the first parent that I told was my dad. I think I waited maybe till I was 8 or 16. No, not 16. Some type of weeks pregnant. I told my dad first because I had a really good relationship with my dad, and I knew he wouldn't judge me. I knew he would help me with advice on what to do and stuff. And then I hid my pregnancy from my mom till I was maybe 3 or 4 months pregnant, just because, February, March, April, May. Yeah, I was probably 2 or 3 months pregnant. I hid it from her for 2 or 3 months. Just because we didn't have a good relationship at the time, and I was just the most scared to tell her, because she scares the shit out of me. She scares me. But anyway, so fast forward, my cravings were out of the freaking world. But I do thank my mom and thank the people that encouraged me to tell her, because she helped me with my cravings a lot. Every time I was craving something, she would go get it for me, or we'd go get it together, thankfully. I would crave a lot of salty things like chicken, fries, but the main thing I would crave was chicken tenders, or Chick-fil-A, stuff like that. And it was really hard going to school because I would just be hungry 24/7 all throughout the day. And so I would bring snacks, yeah, but I'd still be hungry all throughout the day. So imagine having morning sickness, having to go to school when you're feeling like you have to throw up every 5 minutes, and being hungry as fuck the whole day. And yeah, that just killed everything. I was really depressed also during my pregnancy, and I know that you're not supposed to be stressed or feel down when you're pregnant, because they say that babies can feel what you feel. So I felt bad. I was like, man, that must be a sad baby, because I was sad all the time. I was never happy. I was always stressed. I was fighting with my mom at the time, and I had moved an hour away from my boyfriend. I was just sad 24/7. So long story short, my pregnancy went pretty well, besides the fact that my baby was very small. And because he was very small, I had to be induced. And when you're induced, what they do is they make your baby come. They hook you up to something called Pitocin. And what Pitocin does is it pumps, I'm not the best. You can look that up. It pumps something to make you have contractions. And thankfully I was induced, because I feel like if I weren't, then I would just have so much anxiety to the point where I would pass out. Pregnancy freaked me out, especially birth. That was my biggest fear in life, was giving birth to a baby. I was induced twice. The first time I wasn't able to have my baby because I was having contractions, but my, what's it called? My cervix wasn't dilating at all. And so instead of like them trying to force me to dilate, which wouldn't be really healthy on my baby, they just said, you know, we'll just try it again, which was a waste of time and a waste of money and a waste of pain. And so went home and waited a little closer to my due date to have birth. And the reason why I was induced was because my baby was smaller than his birth rate or something. Like, I was 9 months, but he was the size of maybe a 6-month-old baby. So, I think I said I was like, yeah. So he was the size of a 6-month, no. Not 6 months. Yeah, he was the size of a like maybe 25-week baby while I was like 9 months pregnant. So that's why I had to be induced. And so the second time that I had to be induced was better, way better than the first, just because I knew what I was getting myself into. I had already felt a lot of the pain that goes with it. So I was pretty much ready. Prince was very, very little for his growing rate. The contractions really just felt like very strong, annoying, consistent period cramps. And they would get stronger and longer. And honestly, it was just so hard because period cramps kind of, for me, they would go away in a way. But those like contractions, it just felt like constant pain. And it was an annoying pain. It felt like someone was trying to like rip you open from the inside. So that's what that felt like. But as soon as I got an epidural, I was fine. That stuff feels so good. Especially like when you're in pain and then it just stops and you know that you're going to be okay for the rest of the day. It felt amazing. And I remember when they told me, what's wrong? I remember when they told me that I was about to give birth, that I was so scared and so excited that I started pumping like so many more doses of epidural, because like you can pump wait, what am I about to say? Yeah, you can pump your own epidural, give yourself more doses if you need to. And I had asked the nurse, I was like, so do you think I'll feel anything if I can already kind of feel my legs? And she goes, yeah, but it's better than not feeling anything at all. But I went ahead and pumped like 2 more doses and I couldn't feel a thing. Since he was really little, not much damage was done. I feel like everybody has to get stitched up, so I did have to get stitched up down there. But other than that, my recovery was very smooth and very easy. I didn't feel much pain at all when I was recovering. And that was one thing I was also very scared about. A lot of people say that it hurts more than giving birth, the recovery, but mine, I felt fine. It was a little uncomfortable feeling, but I felt great. But yeah, after that... After that, just having your baby is the best feeling ever. Like holding him, being able to take care of him, getting to know him was just amazing. It was the best. That was like the best time of my life and the most like exciting. So he was the cutest thing in the world to me, honestly. He was very cute to me. But yeah, now he's 7 months old, as active as ever, just because he's skinny and he can do whatever he wants. And I couldn't be happier. It's very, very hard though, having a baby when you're young, because I'm fresh out of high school and I'm in college right now, online classes, and that's already pretty hard because babies require so much attention. And it's like I gotta give 80% of my time to my baby, and then the other 20% I have to do schoolwork or do something productive with my day. And it can be really exhausting, but I know when he grows up, it'll all be worth it, because these kids do too much, and y'all just do too much. But yeah, it was very smooth, very easy. I feel like a lot of people put this scary image of birth into women's heads, that it's like the most painful experience, which it probably is if you don't have an epidural. I can't imagine the pain. I really can't. It gives me the chills just thinking about it. But yeah, so that was my experience. It was the best one in my life. And if I had any advice for any women that are pregnant, young, or anything, is to reach out to as many people as possible, like parents and people who have already went through it, and just don't be scared to ask for help. Don't be afraid of talking to your parents, unless you were like in a situation where you literally can't. But don't be scared to talk to your parents, and everything will be okay. It'll be okay. And yeah, thank you for watching this very probably boring video. And this is a bright light for you. Also, what they don't tell you about postpartum is you do lose your hair. It does start thinning. It does start falling out more. And what else? If you have, I feel like for me, my eczema got way worse when I had Prince. So if you have any skin conditions, they may worsen. I had baby blues, which means I was super depressed after giving birth. I would cry every single day, all day, for the dumbest stuff. And yeah, it was the worst. My emotions were all over the place. So just be prepared to be emotionally unstable and to lose your hair, because you're going to be bald-headed for a while until your hair grows back. Ain't that right? Say, mama's bald-headed. But anyway, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any video suggestions, anything you want to see, just comment them down below, because we're happy to do them. Alright. Bye. Toodaloo. Can you say bye? He's like, no. Alright, I'm out. I'm out.